I'm back. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break podcast. You set a time with somebody and you think they would show up on time. Joe, Joe Sorrow. It's Gerald Glassford. Come right back at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts, on the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, which is now available on YouTube, on the Lakers YouTube as well, the Lakers Fast Break YouTube, because I have that for members on the Pop Culture Cosmos YouTube, and also as well on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. On the latest Pop Culture Cosmos, it is Josh Peterson's best and worst in pop culture for 2025. Plus, also as well, we recap the Christmas weekend at the box office. How well is Avatar Fire and Ash doing? Is it going to be a hit? Is it going to be a failure? Who knows? But we kind of have ideas after a few days of Avatar Fire and Ash. So we start to speculate on the future of Avatar Fire and Ash on the show. Plus, also as well, we talk about the latest Avengers Doomsday trailer, Stranger Things season 5, as it finally hits its final episode on New Year's Eve. And of course, also as well, the video game saga continues as Circana reported that video game console sales were some of the worst that it's been in 30 years. We go ahead and talk about that on the show as well. That's the Pop Culture Cosmos, wherever you get your podcasts. What's going on? You are not cool, bro. No, okay. So they were convinced. Mark, aka Xbox LFP fanboy, was convinced you were cool, bro. So that's okay. Again, if you were cool, bro, then your favorite team would be the Rams, and you've been idolizing Matthew Stafford, and well, didn't quite go so well. The fall from grace from the Rams, not been good past few weeks if you're a Rams fan, and I'll just leave it at that. But again, great to have you here. Tomorrow night, our coverage of the Lakers fast break will be as far as the post game is concerned. Wanted to go ahead and mention that against the Detroit Pistons. The Lakers meet up against tomorrow. It's on NBC for you right there at 7:30. So go ahead and check it out. And after the game will be us. Well, I think if Joe's going to be here, maybe Mr. John Costa, who's been under the weather lately. I hope he feels better and is able to join us. Maybe even Legend, although he has been on the road. He just said if he's watched the game last night, watched the post game, you got a chance to hear he was actually on the road, and that was really awesome of him. He was on the road after the Independence Bowl, I believe it was. So yeah, go ahead and check out tomorrow night's post game. And I have as a special treat for you guys. If you remember, you can catch it here right after the show. I have just put up my latest NBA observations with Caleb Ponce. If not, you'll get to catch it tomorrow morning. And on that show, we have a great episode for you lined up. If you want to go ahead and catch it, like I said, after this show, we go ahead into detail on some under the radar teams. We talk about as well if the Bucks and the Clippers are going to resurrect their season. And we talk about that and a lot more as far as go into detail on Trae Young and Austin Reeves. I think they're in very similar situations. Eerie because of the fact that they both came from Oklahoma. So we go ahead and discuss that in great detail as well. Really great conversations with Caleb Ponce. If you're missing it, you're missing out on some really great NBA observations. And again, remember, you can go ahead and catch it after the show today. If you're not, you'll be able to catch it on a delayed fashion tomorrow morning. And also for your audio folks, I will try to put up on the audio feed sometime here in the future as well. Want to thank you so much for joining us again. Thought Joe was going to be on here. I will put now a message. Joe, are you coming on? Are you? He just had me do some stuff for his Joe Sorrell experiment. Please like and subscribe. Are you coming on, Joe? Probably I got a call. So go ahead and check out the new intros I put out for him on the Joe Sorrell experiment. The next time he goes on the air, I just fixed 4 of them for him before we went on the show tonight. So go ahead and make sure you like that. And of course, John Costa at Lakers Corner And don't forget the Lakerholics as well. Well, the Lakers are heading into battle tomorrow night against the Detroit Pistons to close out their 2025 year. And Joe and I, at the time earlier today, thought it would be a great idea to go on tonight to talk about some predictions we have for 2026. So I'll hold off on that because I just text Joe and they're going to make sure that he is going to come on. And hopefully, he didn't fall asleep in the last half hour. I will say, though, that I wanted to give everybody an update. He didn't see the note I provided for you guys on the channel. The update is that Jackson Hayes is going to play. Yay! Jackson Hayes will be available for tomorrow. But Rui Hachimura will not. He has a right calf strain, or let me go ahead and forgot what I posted earlier. Let me go ahead and see what I posted on there because I know Gabe Vincent, calf soreness. That's right calf soreness. Gabe still has the back injury, and of course, you know about what's going on with Austin Reeves. So yes, we will not have Rui, Gabe, or Austin Reeves in the lineup tomorrow as the Lakers face off against the Detroit Pistons tomorrow night. But then again, join us on the post game right after. We'll be able to go ahead and share thoughts on the season as well what went on in the game. LFB fanboy says, Joe, before the season started, you said Lakers have a path of winning the championship. Jokic gets hurt and SGA gets hurt. Yeah. Make sure I notify him when he comes on. He has been notified. He's been reminded about the show and the time we agreed on. Who the hell is Cool Bro? Oh, LFP fanboy. I will just say Cool Bro is a interesting individual. To say that as part of our recent history here at the Lakers Fast Break for the past 2-3 years. So, yes, Joe is celebrating Jokic's injury right now, so he'll be late. He is in the chat. Joe is. So hopefully, Joe, if you come on down, you can go ahead and get the show started. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. With Rui being injured, interesting to see what kind of tweaks the lineup will probably be Jake LaRavia would be my guess heading into the lineup. Although, what would you go smaller with Nick Smith Jr. coming off his hot shooting performance? Would you go Dalton Connect and to see if there's still any life there with Dalton Connect? I want to hear your thoughts in the chat on who do you think should start in Rui's spot tomorrow. Jared Vanderbilt for more defense. We've been getting some hit and misses with Jared Vanderbilt, as you guys saw. Yeah, he hit a 3. And then in a span of less than a minute, he missed a 3 by 2 feet short and 2 feet wide, and then proceeded to also throw a ball directly to the other team for a turnover. So again, we're seeing the good and the bad with Jared Vanderbilt when he's out there. But again, he could provide better defense for us. So who do you think should be in the lineup for Rui tomorrow? Please let us know your thoughts in the chat. We'd love to hear them. And while I still wait on Joe to come on, I'd like to hear what you guys thought. Again, a lot of the NBA is now focused on what the status is for Nikola Jokic. There's been no confirmation. Sorry to say, LFB fanboy, there is no confirmation on the damage that was done. Nikola Jokic got bumped by a teammate, and you saw, if you very carefully his knee bent itself back. Could have been hyper, like similar to the Giannis Antetokounmpo hyperextension from a few years back. Kind of looked like to me, but could be something more serious. Again, sorry guys, sorry LSP fanboy in the chat. There has been no determination on what the status is right now. But I know that Sham Sharani and so many other reporters have the beat on it as soon as that becomes available. But the MRI has been taken, so we'll see what happens with Nikola Jokic's knee. But someone who LFB fanboy says that you're celebrating. Good man indeed. It is, of course, the guy behind the experiment himself, guy who will now have 4 new intros that I just uploaded to StreamYard. So they're all ready to go, Joe. Just wanted to let you know that. It is Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. LFB fanboy says you were late because you were celebrating the injury to Nikola Jokic that happened in Miami.
Stupid.
Thank
There's no other way to look at it.
I got a funny thing to tell you before we go, because you and I and Intel out there, guys out there, thank you so much. He says the best Lakers podcast out there. Truly appreciate the super chat. But I was watching Awful Coaching while I was taking care of your intro videos, and he was doing a state society or sometime he was doing a live feed. He's doing what we're doing now, and he was talking to his audience. Had a big audience. Congratulations to him. He well deserved. And he's going off and he's talking about the Lakers, talking about JG Redick and complain about him. And then he was going about off on the reporters, goes off on McMenamin. But then he says Trevor Lane is the reason for the Lakers' downfall. I thought that was so funny. Because of the dumbass questions they ask in those pressers that they have, the generic stale questions that they have at those JJ press conferences after practices, like earlier today. So that I just wanted to let you know that. But Joe, I don't know the dynamics yet on his injury, Nikola Jokic's injury, so I don't know. We can't speculate on any type of future for the entire Western Conference on Nikola Jokic's injury just as of yet. We'll probably get a better idea tomorrow on that. But before we go into our predictions, Rui Hachimura, I can tell you tomorrow will not be there because of right calf soreness. And I guess we got to take those calf sorenesses seriously because they might turn into a bigger calf soreness and he'll be out a month. So I guess he's out of the lineup. Who are you looking to go ahead and replace him in the lineup? Laravia, Vanderbilt, Connect, someone else?
Likely, it's going to be Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is all they have in terms of a wing player, whatever that means. Vanderbilt has his moments, but then there were spurts in yesterday's game that made you want to.
As I said, the highs and lows before you came
It
on.
made
The
you want to
highs and
stand
lows.
under a broken window just because you're
Yes.
you can't handle this bad basketball IQ. So I guess I'm trying to not go too crazy on this. As soon as I saw the report, I rolled my eyes and I said, this is what we are supporting as basketball fans. We continue to feed this product of inadequacy. And they're a 20-10 team, but it doesn't feel like that. And it's going to come off from the person who's maybe not as observant of the culture of basketball or its current culture. It's gonna look like we're the typical spoiled Nimrod armchair quarterback type fan base. But what we really are is we are the messengers. We're the few messengers out there, because I'm sure there's some other messengers out there that are good at analyzing basketball and analyzing Laker basketball and letting everyone understand that this is a team that is not really winning from cohesiveness or any kind of specific style or image or rep or identity other than you, Luke is a guy that can drop 35 a night and almost get a triple double almost every night, and then LeBron has his great moments because great players always have those moments, even if they're even in the latter stages of their career. And then you have a couple of really good players that are there that will come through here and there until they meet some other really good player that's a little bit better than them. And that's essentially what the Lakers are in a nutshell. They can't really beat any good teams. They've beaten teams that they should, which is why they're at 20-10. They were winning games on the road, which is was admirable at the time. But as soon as things got a little tighter against the competition, that's when you saw kind of who they really are, which is a team that can't really compete for 4 quarters against that particular team. And rest and fake injuries are essentially the reputation of what the NBA is now. And I don't know if it'll ever change.
Once again, it is the Lakers Snack Pack. It's a Lakers Fast Break podcast. Truly appreciate you joining us. Please like and subscribe. Thank you again to Intel Wild for your generous super chats all year long. Truly appreciate it. Once again, Rui Hachimura is out with right calf soreness. We have no word on when he will be available, but kind of had a feeling was going to go in that direction earlier today, just by the way that JJ said how he was not participating in practice. But they just don't beat her. They beat around the bush. They just don't get right to it and just say, you know what, he's not going to be there tomorrow. They just, for whatever reason, JJ and other coaches like this are always vague about what they see or how they go ahead and interpret players' injuries and whatnot. They know already if they're not going to play. And it's just like, who are you kidding here? I understand there's betting and things of that nature, but it just seems like at some point in time that they are just trying to patronize us with these injuries and these sorenesses and these strains that continue to go on. If a player's going to be out, just let everybody know so we can plan and go forward instead of just trying to beat around the bush. You already knew when he wasn't participating in practice that that was going to happen. So again, who would you like to see? Would you like to see more of a Vanderbilt, or it sounds like Vanderbilt is going to be the pick because of the way he's been playing sometimes for the Lakers. But Laravia, or Ravioli as we call him here, could be an option as well.
Yeah, there's available players. The problem is, are they going to execute? Uh, Laravia is still terrible when he's wide open, still doesn't make shots. He's been really good at telegraphing rebounds and playing hard on that side of the game, but he's needed on both sides with a team that's not really depth worthy. You don't really have any backup guards other than Marcus Smart if you're playing Luca and Reeves. Reeves is now out for a month, so Marcus Smart comes in, but he can't play 30, 40 minutes because as soon as he starts doing that on the regular basis, something gets tweaked. You have DeAndre Ayton, who in a lot of ways is similar to Rui Hachimura. There's always these weird contusions that happen every fourth game, and then they have to sit. It's exhausting. It's exhausting following 82 games of question marks. And the NBA is becoming a very hard game to enjoy. Uh, we enjoy doing the show, which means we have to watch the games, and that's essentially what's keeping us here, at least for me, because I don't think I'd be as dedicated, which is really sad commentary because I've been watching Laker basketball for a very long time. Ever since I've moved to Southern California in 1996, I have been watching Laker basketball game in, game out in some form or fashion, or listening to it or following it on some kind of game cast if I can't see it on TV, which that was kind of the norm in the late 90s and early 2000s, in some cases late 2000s. People don't remember that who are young because they're used to what they see now, which is complete availability, especially with the way the internet's availability is. But there was a time where when they were on the road, San Diego, where I was at most of my time here in Southern California, didn't have KCAL. So I had to go to the restaurants to go watch it, or again follow it on a game cast or listen to it on the radio. There's very little enjoyment in watching the games because you're not watching your team develop a chemistry. You're not watching them play on a consistent basis and maybe get better game in and game out and create a role for themselves, an identity for each individual player that you're like, ooh, I really like this guy. Even, we talk about the Trevor Arizas and the Shannon Browns and those guys from the past, those role player types. Talked about Rick Fox, talked about Derek Fisher. Those guys were just as fun to watch than Kobe and Shaq, Kobe and Powell and Ron Artest, because those guys were the glue. Those guys were the ones that would come in the second and fourth quarters and sustain the leads and put on a show. Sometimes guys like Shannon Brown, Trevor Ariza playing good, smart, team-oriented basketball. I just don't see. I don't see any of that with the Lakers. I don't see any of it. Everything about this team is about injuries. JJ Redick looking like he isn't up for the trade. That's not the right wording, because I was thinking about that line in Roadhouse when Dalton was firing people. He looks at Terry Funk and he goes, "You don't have the right," does he say, "You don't have the right attitude for the trade?" Geez, I've seen that movie so many times. I can't believe I forgot this line. And of course, Terry Funk gets angry and takes his check and leaves.
And then he works for the bad guy.
Right. So, now I remember. You don't have the right temperament for the trade. And that scene, that whole scene is movie gold when you watch it. It's you can talk about Broadway, you can talk about all that, but when it comes to box office movie scenes, that's some of the stuff I think about, because there's just an ongoing dialogue that's absolutely hitting. It's like Mike Myers' movies back in the late 90s, where every joke was just funnier after funny after funny after funny. It like never stops, right? So as soon as he says that, of course, Terry Funk goes, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "There's always barber college." And that's what I feel like telling JJ Redick when he starts to, I think Empire Jeff said, when he's got too much estrogen going that particular day. And I think that's going to be his downfall. And it's not his fault that he can't control what he can control now. He has no control. Head coaches in the NBA don't have any control except Eric Spoelstra in Miami. And the only reason why he has power there is because Pat Riley allows him to do that. And that's just, everybody has to get in line. So, however, we will probably know more about JJ Redick once the towel has been wrung. And the towel will be wrung come, let's say, at the latest, May. I'm being generous in terms of hoping that the Lakers can get out of the first round in the playoffs. But I'd say by at least May, you're going to have this team look drastically cleaner, so that decisions can be made at that point. And I am not attached to a single player that will be available for free agency from this team this summer. The only player that I am concerned with is Luka Doncic. Anyone else, I will bless Mark Walter and his group in making sure that their decisions are supported as best as they can make it.
Once again, it is a snack pack for you right here. Of course, the Lakers Fast Break. I truly appreciate you joining us. Joe, after getting me to drink 3 drinks that I hadn't done in decades, he is asking for a traditional Joe shot until Wild is on the super chat. So I will leave that again as an adult up to you. But I couldn't flash it on the screen for some reason. Talk Studio, it doesn't show it right now. So I do apologize for that intel, but I do appreciate the super chat once again. Yeah, I don't know why they couldn't get you that last drink with me. I don't know why. I guess they hit a limit, or you have a limit on the super chats. To me, it's crazy, but okay. All right, what have you. But he is asking for a shot. Just wanted to let you know. But we will go into the future as far as the predictions for 2026 that we have. But before we do that, tomorrow night's game against the Detroit Pistons, a very angry Detroit Piston team, which just got whacked upside the head by the suddenly surging LA Clippers. Didn't think I had that on my bingo card, but it is true. They are surging right now. So, with that, my friend, your thoughts on the Detroit Pistons? The team right now is still at the top of the Eastern Conference, just barely ahead of the New York Knicks, 24-8 going into tomorrow. What do you see from the Lakers as far as what they need to get done? Is this new commitment to defense, which again has only been in one game and against the Kings? Do you see this new commitment to defense, as they put it, helping out as far as finishing off a good year, a solid year, or a great year by some people's estimations, in getting Luca as far as 2025 is concerned?
I No, I don't feel that this team is capable of playing good defense game in and game out because one, Luca is not a defender. He never will be. He has been putting in the effort. I've been seeing some good steals, some good anticipation on passing lane disruptions, even some block shots. LeBron can't really exert himself too much. He will bust a tire, right? And then you have guys like Reeves who aren't capable of staying in front of athletic wings, athletic guards. Unfortunately, it's just not God given abilities, is not there for that. Then you have Laravia, who isn't really a defender. Dalton Connect isn't a defender. DeAndre Ayton is somewhat distracting at the basket, but he's not going to be a guy that's going to be able to guard you away from the basket and stay in front of you. Jackson Hayes isn't going to be able to cover your perimeter in any way. And then Marcus Smart is really your only, I'd say, committed defender, but he'll also bust a tire if he's playing too many minutes doing that. And when he does put in the defensive work, his shot, because of getting tired, will likely falter. It's not a very well constructed team. What the future of the Lakers needs to be is they will need, similarly to what LeBron needed for years that he didn't get a lot of in Cleveland, and I'd say in Miami he did have a little bit of it, but the problem was depth was a problem there too. I don't think Miami was drafting very well during their 4 years in Miami. I think if they had drafted better, I think the depth would have helped. Maybe they win in 2011. Maybe they win in 2014. I don't know. We don't know really, but uh, I don't feel like Luca for a minute had it in Dallas when he went to the finals, but it wasn't enough time. The Lively's was still a rookie. That guy will be better when he's healthy as a 4 or 5 year type player. That's how the NBA is typically. Gafford was a good pickup. PJ Washington was a good pickup. Kyrie Irving with Luca, yes, it worked to an extent, but then they got exploited at the worst time, which you can't have two lousy defenders in the guard position in the NBA in 2025, 2026. So, first and foremost, the Lakers have to likely get a guard, an off guard that can shoot and play defense for Luca. And then you need at least one wing who can guard and shoot. And then hopefully a superstar somewhere in there, and then a viable center who can do something that, I don't mind DeAndre Ayton if that works out. I think there are much worse options to have, especially if you have the right constructed team. But ideally, I think you'd probably want someone like a Chet Holmgren, like a Miles Turner when he's on versus when he's off. That type of player at the center position. It's difficult. It's very difficult. How do you pay these guys? What's going to be available when you need to go that route? How's drafting going to change that? It's a lot of work, and of course, the current CBA being as restrictive as it is, just it becomes this area of unknown because of the timing. Will the timing work out too? Because I think timing plays a huge part in that. And if you don't believe me, all you got to do is ask the Golden State Warriors about timing. All you got to do is ask the Atlanta Hawks about timing. And what I mean by that is look at the different look at what happened to Golden State in 2020. They had injury issues, had a horrible year, but were able to get the second pick in that draft. And if they had gotten a superstar at the number 2, who knows what would have happened? Maybe they go on another run, but because they got a dud, it completely took them out. I mean, they were able to win in 2022 due to the circumstances of COVID and how that kind of turned out, and them being able to use their championship pedigree. But they couldn't do it beyond that. They couldn't make another run. And then, of course, Atlanta with Richiche. That's unfortunately they didn't really they got a Joe Smith as a first pick. That's really essentially what they got. Although I do think Richiche is going to be better than Joe Smith, but in terms of impact, he is not a franchise player. He's not going to likely be that guy, and that's unfortunate.
LFB, you just have to go back to our rants when Bronny was drafted, and just even before Bronny was drafted, to tell you how we feel about keeping Bronny. We never wanted Bronny in the first place. We knew he wasn't an NBA player from the get-go. He wasn't an NBA player. We saw this. We predicted this would happen. And yes, we know Goodwin has been playing very well for the Suns. He was given up because the Lakers need the money to sign Marcus Smart. But yes, part of the reason also as well is because they had that guaranteed contract for Bronny sitting there, and it's going to sit there for another season as well because nobody wants it. He's probably one of the worst, if not the worst player in the NBA. Maybe not counting two ways right now, maybe even counting two ways right now. So yeah, he is terrible. He's absolutely a minus, and in a team with plenty of minuses on that bench, he is the biggest minus of all. And yeah, we never even wanted him on the team. Listen to Joe's rants in the shorts, and that's exactly how we felt leading into the drafting of Bronny. And I'll just leave it at that. But great questions out there, JY. Yes, it's not a great matchup for the Lakers because they are number 2 overall in rebounding. They are number 1 in block shots. So taking the ball inside will be difficult for the Lakers. They have to shoot well. I think the Lakers do tomorrow from the outside in order to get the victory. But the Lakers have been a good shooting team all season. So has Detroit. They've not been a great shooting team as well. So we'll see how well that parlays itself. But Detroit also has athleticism along the perimeter that they can throw out there, especially with the other Thompson brother, who Asar Thompson, who will be playing a lot of defense, probably on Luka quite a bit come tomorrow. So we'll see how that matches up. But yeah, definitely interested to see how that goes. With a win, the Lakers can reestablish themselves in 4th place and be just behind San Antonio and Denver in the race because both those teams lost tonight. And of course, we heard the news regarding Nikola Jokic. Again, no affirmation on what the status is of his knee, but if you saw the footage, it looked like it's at least a hyperextension of that knee. So he'll be out quite some time. And it's tough business, but if that's the case, the Lakers have got to go ahead and take advantage.
Terrible, terrible, terrible. He was having his greatest year.
He had reestablished himself as of that last game, the 56, 16 and 15 game, he as the MVP in this league.
It's sad. I don't like seeing this. I really don't. And I'm worried. It's something serious. Seeing how his knee
didn't
came
look great.
down.
Did you see that? Did you see how it happened? His teammate bumped into him.
Yeah, and I don't.
Andrew Bynum style almost.
I'm hoping it's a couple weeks. I really am. I don't know if I'm being delusional or what, probably, but even those couple weeks is going to take a little bit of the luster off of it. And if it's a month, then now his ability to win the awards are going to dwindle away, right? And yeah. I don't want to see this for a lot of the reasons why I'm downgrading the NBA product, this is one of the few guys that's actually upgrading it. You don't see a player like this very often in your life. This is true greatness that just fell down, and that is a sad. It's a sad day. It's a sad day if it's something serious.
Once again, it is a Lakers fast break. It is a snack pack. Truly appreciate you joining us. Again, doesn't look like Joe is drinking tonight. Sorry, Intel, my
I'll
friend.
go get it. I'll go get something here.
Well, is
I'll
Intel
be
there
back.
still there? Confirm Intel is still there before
Okay.
you do that. So he hasn't put a comment in a lot. Well, you don't have to do a super chat, but just let us know if you're alive and well. Well, check if you're out there, Intel. But what VIPs only, SB? What are you talking about? Oh my gosh, you guys are just going off on another chat. Always good to see. But our predictions for the 2026 year are coming up here as around the corner. 2026 hopefully will be a better year for the team. Although, again, you look at it, we got Luca, so it has to be considered a positive year. I know Intel Wild in the super chat says right below, we aren't very good now, but we'll wait till next season. Again, with a lot of LA fans, that waiting is not acceptable, that they want something done now. I had wanted something done over the summer. It didn't happen to the extent I was hoping for. And we're seeing about where most of us predicted the team to be, fourth, fifth, and sixth place position in the Western Conference, which is right where they're jockeying now. What do you see as you gaze into your crystal ball as far as what may happen for the 2026 season or 2026 year in general? Let's this year in general.
I see continued fractures in the team. Things could change if major injuries happen to the top teams, because then that could open up some things, because the East is wide open. I'm not afraid of anybody in the East, not even the Celtics, even with their commentary about Jason Tatum coming back. I'm not really going to put a lot of weight on that. That's a horrible idea to bring him back this early, in my view. And I just don't think they're going to be a threat when in the end. The Lakers would have to deal with Oklahoma City. They'd have to deal with the Spurs. They'd have to deal with the Houston Rockets, obviously. And that's essentially going to be the gamut here, the gauntlet in the West. Unless there's major injuries to the bigger stars on that path. And I'm saying this because that's what's been happening this last few years. I don't see this working out well. It's not a good team unless there is a trade at the deadline that makes sense for now and the future, which that's really the hard part. How do you make that decision to bring in talent without compromising the future? Because that first round pick will be compromised. And I'm done as a viewer compromising draft capital, especially with the new regime coming in and knowing how they're going to operate. They're not going to waste that pick with stupid picks like Rob Pelinka and whoever was calling those shots the last few years. They're going to go to people that actually do have the resources to scout correctly and not have to worry about going with their heart instead of their brain. It's a very, very difficult assessment because we don't know who's available. There's nothing to predict anymore in the NBA because it's unpredictable to the point where who's going to play? Who's going to be available for 4 series in the NBA? As good as Oklahoma City has been, and they've been good for 3 years, guys, they still lost 2 years ago, and they still had to go through 2 7-game series against 2 teams that would have likely beaten them had they been healthy. See the theme of where I'm going here, Gerald? It's playing a factor in here. So I'll lay it on a positive note for the Lakers. If the Lakers are the only healthy team going into the playoffs, and what I mean by that is, let's say one of the Spurs main players is hurt, let's say one of the main players in Oklahoma City is hurt. I'm not going to say SGA or Wembyama. Forget about that for a second. Just one of the cogs in there. Let's say Castle gets hurt. Let's say Jalen Williams gets hurt, and I'm using that because he's been hurt this whole year, right?
He's got that wrist issue, yes.
Right. So then it's what? Okay, are you going to worry about Houston at this point? They have Durant, they have a young team, they can play defense, they have a good coach, sure. But all bets are off when you put Luka and LeBron in a playoff game against young players, because that game is a completely different beast unless those young players are ridiculously chemistried. I know that's not a word, but I'm just saying everybody's in tune, young, and full of fervor, right? You don't know. That could be a up in the air decision. Who is the veteran guy and the guy in his prime that's been known to come through in those moments year in, year out? Is that going to override those things? Very well could. So this is going to be that year, if there is to be an upgrade, let's say, where you either look like a genius or it completely falters. And really, whatever they do at the deadline, if it doesn't result in a championship, it's a dud. It's probably why it's going to be very difficult for them to take a risk. Unless that player is someone that they say, you know what, this is a guy we can start putting the pieces together now with. And that's it.
I will say 2026 will be very interesting. We will know for a fact what the course of action is for Rob Pelinka and the current front office for the Lakers heading into 2026, because it was discussed by Rich Paul. Say what you want about Rich Paul and his latest comments about Austin Reeves and all that other stuff. Again, it is what it is. But he did say that the Lakers were on two different timelines heading into the season when LeBron agreed to opt into the $52.6 million deal for the final year on his contract. He did say that the Lakers were on a path to be competitive now, but to make sure that they had plenty of free space for the next summer, if not 2 summers, to see what's out there that can make this team into a better team going forward. And it'll be interesting because 2026 early on will tell us by the trade deadline, by February, if Rob has done something, not much, or nothing at all, or a lot on whether or not he wants to commit to the Lakers this season. And we'll see if that's the case, that they believe they can provide a championship level team around Luka and LeBron this season. Otherwise, I think, was it Mission who said it earlier today in the WhatsApp chat, was that the Lakers could free themselves of well over $100 million potentially this summer heading into free agency, trades, the NBA draft, et cetera, et cetera. So they would have a lot of money to play with this summer. The free agent market is not great, seeing how Austin Reeves and Trae Young are going to be, if they opt out, at the head of the class. If both opt out, I think at this point, what you see is the potential for possibly making some deals and making some changes, because I don't think, if this season works out the way it is, where the Lakers are again a 4 through 6 place team and they're out in the first round, or they might make it to a second round and they're out, that's not going to satisfy an individual owner like Mark Walter, and he'll make some changes that a lot of people like you and I have wanted to see for some time, which will necessitate a more win now mentality from the organization as well.
Do you believe that Jonathan Kuminga is a lesser player than Austin Reeves?
Yes.
Okay,
I think
so
I think he is more God-given talented, but less skilled. Does that make sense?
so he is making just above 20 million a year. And if that is indeed correct, if someone like Jonathan Kuminga is worth in the lower parts of the $20 million mark, it probably means that the market for Austin Reeves will be around 30 million.
I think
The,
it's
the,
going to be higher. I really think
if
they
it's
might be higher.
higher, then you must let go.
I would agree. I would think you trade him before then. I really think that you can't let him walk for nothing.
If they're gonna trade him,
And it's
it's
not
gonna
based
be
on money, Joe. It's based on the talent of that individual. If you let
this
a
would have to
talented
this would have to likely come from. But the thing is, who would trade for who thinks they're an Austin Reeves away from really competing? It doesn't matter in either conference. Let's say an East team. And as much as I like Trey Young's offensive game, there's really there's nothing there in Atlanta. There's nothing there in terms of Lakers being involved in that. The Lakers have Lucas, so that's not going to be an issue in terms of thought process. But do the Lakers understand that what Austin Reeves' market will be this summer? Is it still in the unknown? Because we still have to see a playoff performance. Is playoff performance, should they make it to playoffs, of course, which I believe they will, that does that play a factor in making 30 million versus 40 million? I say yes.
Mm.
But paying him $40 million is still a bad investment. He is not a number 2 player in the NBA, in my view. So why would you pay a number 3 player $40 million? That makes 0 sense.
I'm just telling you, that's again, I have to look at it from the perspective if I'm his agent, Joe, and seeing the guy right now, a top 10 all-star vote getter, which is what he is right now, Joe, in the top 10 of all-star voting. He's a guy whose numbers right now probably have him leaning towards an all-star status. I didn't say, with him being out a month is going to help that cause, but right now it looks like that's going to be. If I'm his agent, again, I'm looking to seek the max, which we talked about for the Lakers is a 5-year, was it, did I say 240-ish, 241? I think off the top of my head. And then if any other team, you can only go 4 years, but I think it's 4 years, 180.
I think it's a terrible investment by anyone giving him $40 million
I'm
for
not
4
saying I
years.
disagree with you, Joe. I'm
Yeah.
not saying at all. I
I
do
think
agree with you.
I think what it may come down to is he going to take let's say there's always, all you need is one fool, right? Let's say there's someone out there that gives him a 4-year deal. For those of you who don't know, the opposing team that doesn't own the bird rights can only offer a free agent 4 years. The Lakers can pay him an extra year being a bird right player, being on the team already, right?
Mhm.
So what does Austin do? Does he take a 4-year high AAV, or does he take an extra year and get paid 30 million a year? So does he
Good
take
point.
160 to go play for the Wizards, or does he take 150 to play for the Lakers? That's going to be the question, I think, in the end. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not paying Austin Reeves more than 30 million a year. Short of winning the Western Conference Finals MVP or a Finals MVP, you cannot afford to pay him more because he cannot be the second highest player on your team. Otherwise, you are going to have the same problems that you have when you play elite athletes on elite teams. It's just not going to work. Timing is everything here. And also, the current collective bargaining agreement isn't going to allow you to sign someone to that much money without huge problems down the road. Or, unless you think that you can use that contract for a trade later too, but how do you know that? You'd have to be Nostradamus to assume that you're going to hear something that might work. Now, here's the other problem with Nikola Jokic injuring his knee. God hoping that it's not a tear. He now is one less option in 2027. That's probably why I'm a little worried right now. I didn't want this to happen because there's always a glimmer of hope. I told you about the Durant to Golden State scenario. You can't assume that that wouldn't be an option. There's a reason why we see contracts and availability and team options and player options so that we can figure things out. And that's us being a fan. I can only imagine what agents and owners are doing, right? I'm sure that the Lakers have sat down at some point and said, Donovan Mitchell, Jokic, Giannis, summer of 2027, which is only 18 months. It's actually 17 months away, guys, now, to where that could be a huge asset that you can bring in without giving up assets. You have to think that way. That's how this works. So I'm hoping to God that Jokic is not hurt. A big guy tearing an ACL is catastrophic, especially when that guy is not athletic.
Is that worse than foot issues? I would say to a guy like Jokic, the foot issues would probably be worse.
I think they're. I've
Like
seen
the Liz
more.
Frank injury. Like let's say the
I've
Liz
seen
Frank
more returns from foot injuries than I have ACL injuries.
injury. Okay.
If you
I'm
look
just
at Steph Curry's career, Algauskas' career,
he's
I
not
know
athletic though, Joe. He relies less on his athleticism.
I know, but it's going to make him even more stiff than he already is.
Okay.
I just I don't like knee injuries on bigs. It just never. That always is a problem. It really is. I'm worried. It's just I'm really hoping he didn't hurt himself bad. I'm hoping it is a hyperextension and there's no tear in any ligaments. I really am. So that we're trying to think of the future here, the near future as much as we can, because we got to the Lakers have to control what they can control. And what they can control is if they have money available or expiring contracts or whatever contracts that would tempt a opposing team to make a deal that would help the Lakers. These are the areas that the Lakers are going to have to put themselves in so that they have a chance to build this to where we can't have a Kobe situation in the mid 2000s where Kobe at his peak powers wasn't competing for championships.
Just wanted to mention to Tough out there that you're watching AI right now. You're watching AI Joe and AI me right now. It's like those cat videos we've been watching, or I've been watching, because when the cat is running a McDonald's or at the checkout counter, and Karen is yelling at the cat's face until the cat hisses and strikes back, or with the guy that seems to be having the selfie, Joe. I don't know if you've got any of these on your feeds, but the guy's doing a selfie, and then here's the cast of Star Wars right behind him, all going and then he goes see him. The cast it goes right over to the cast of Back to the Future, and Doc Brown and Michael J. Fox, and then it goes to whatever famous actors next and next, whether they're alive or dead or whatnot. That's what I've been seeing on my feed, is all that AI. So Tough, this is all AI. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. It is Joe Sorrell from the Joe Sorrell Experiment, along with me, Gerald Glassford, live and in the flesh, living color, not AI. Would be nice, though, to have our shows run that. Now, AI has critiqued Joe's thoughts on Bronny before. Now, that was hilarious. So you guys can look that one up in the archives, because that was always hilarious. But I think the Lakers in 2026, my biggest prediction for the Lakers is that we will see major changes in the summer of 2026, and that Rob Pelinka could be one of them, Joe.
There is a lot of support to clean house, and common sense says it's going to happen regardless. A new regime doesn't keep the old leaders. They want their own. I used the Dodgers as an example because they actually had a really good GM, by the way, that they let go for a better one. So imagine that. Ned Colletti. This is a man that got Will Smith, Corey Seager, Clayton Kershaw. Had a damn good team. Damn good players. Homegrown guys that were World Series MVPs and clutch players and Hall of Famers. And he didn't last 3 seasons. It was almost like he did Sportsnet LA for a minute, but it was almost like they slowly exiled him. They didn't do that. I'm just saying it. They let him go. Then he got a little bit of a kind of like a middle ground area where he could talk some baseball with the Dodgers on the Dodgers channel, and then all of a sudden Ned Clady's gone. If you think that they're not going to get rid of Rob Pelinka and anything associated with Jeannie Buss, you are not thinking very well. It's going to happen. It's a matter of time. I would prefer it sooner rather than later, but I trust Mark Walter and the Guggenheims to eventually do what they do best, and we just got to ride that wave as long as we have to.
Nick, Nick T, I love you, bro. Man, I got nothing but love, and you're here all the time, and I have so much, a ton of respect for you. I know you hate Luca. I know you hate Luca with a passion. I believe me. I read every one of your criticisms, and not all of them are, you know, biased against him. Some of them are just right. In fact, he doesn't play defense. Whether he can or can't, he just doesn't play defense. It has been proven time and time again. I get it. His shot selection. I talked about this with the guys on the Discord for last night's game. His shot selection has to improve. His arguing with the refs, that was something we were well aware of when we got him. I get the fact that Max Christie is shooting 45% from three. He had a decent game tonight. He is a good rotation player. I said for years, arguing back and forth with Rodell Johnson, all respect to Rodell, and he was here the other day, so I wish him well and a great new year. I thought that he would be a rotation player, and that's what he is. He doesn't do enough to become a star, so him going back and forth, depending on how hot he is from three, starting to being a guy off the bench. That's what he might end up being for the rest of his career as a good rotation player, which is great. And I understand that you would have preferred keeping him over Austin Reeves at this point, because the fact he's a much more consistent shooter and he does play better defense than Austin Reeves. But that's what needed to be made to get a player the caliber of Luka Doncic. And again, I know you're not a big fan of Luka Doncic, and I respect that, but the guy is, yeah, you don't have an everyday opportunity, Joe, to get a top 5 NBA level player as far as an elite scorer and as someone who can just through his play elevate teams and just through his play change the course of an NBA playoff series in just a matter of games. There's just very few players with his type of ability if he channels that in, for a series or a playoff or even a full playoffs, Joe.
I can't tell if these guys are being serious.
Nick T is serious. Nick T, I know him long enough because he's been saying this. He has been consistent from this. I have a ton of respect for Nick T.
Look, being consistently wrong doesn't get you a badge.
But he's been on that hill.
I don't care what hill it is. Blow up the hill. Okay, that hill needs to get blown up. And I don't know what the hell Stefan is talking about. Is he really talking about Pelinka being?
He is on Rob Pelinka Hill.
You guys are just not paying attention. What do you consider? You guys are like the Rooneys, the owners of the Steelers. Like, are you here to be mediocre, or are you here to win championships, compete for championships? Because if you're here to be mediocre, I totally get what you're saying. But how are you going to look us in the face and tell us that a guy that's been playing in the league for 5 years and has averaged 7 points a game is this amazing player? And the fact that you're having a discussion about Luka versus this guy in some way, in any way, I don't care if he was a throw-in. I don't care if he was a major cog in it. I mean, what brain cells are actually working today, yesterday, tomorrow? You want me to pat you on the back like the Trevor Lanes and all those sycophants, those sellouts, because that's how they keep their jobs? They're all over the place. You want me to pat you on the back and tell you that hey, it's your opinion and you're entitled to it? Sure, you're entitled to it, just like I'm entitled to tell you you're a moron. Max Christie is below average. 7 points a game in 5 years of a career. What do you want me to tell you beyond that? Rob Pelinka has done 2 deals. 2. The Anthony Davis deal, which got him, which was really brokered by LeBron and his sycophants. And then I'm gonna die on this hill, since that seems to be the term nowadays. I'm gonna die on this hill that Opie looking motherfucker in Dallas who owns that team got Luka traded, made Nico the scapegoat, set Luka out, and got what they got. And I didn't think he was smart enough to understand the backlash. That's what happens with a lot of these rich prick billionaires. They think they can run their team, a sports team, like their casinos or like their whorehouses or their gambling houses, whatever it is that they do, because those businesses are predicated on making money. Sports is different. Yes, making money, yes, but winning is the big part of that. You don't go and win prizes, real prizes, competing with another casino. It's not like even the Monday Night Wars, the ratings. The ratings get you more money in advertisements. That's kind of like winning a title. We're the best league versus your league, right? So, with all due respect, and usually when people say that, it's usually coming out next with an insult. Your assessment on Rob Pelinka being anything other than average at best is wrong, because the results say they're wrong. And then, for the love of freaking God, stop talking about Max Christie. For the love of God. He sucks. I would have traded 1,800 Max Christie's for one Luka Doncic kneecap. Spare me the bullshit. Seriously, you're out of your mind with this narrative of Max fucking Christie. I thought that story was done.
Joe, because he's shooting again 45% from 3, and he is defending at a decent level for the Dallas Mavericks. Again, he's a good rotation player. I will give him credit for that, a little bit more than Joe on that. But as someone who will always flip flop between starter and bench guy, it's just, again, you don't risk a trade for a player of Luka's caliber, in my opinion, in order for just to give up, just to keep, he's not. If Nico makes that call and says, I want AD and it's got to be Christie or it's no deal, I am making that deal. I am making a deal, because he's not the type of player that you should hold up for. Now, the Lakers do need that type of player, 3-and-D type players with athleticism that can defend. I get that. I understand that. But you do not have the opportunity every single day to get a player, no matter how many flaws he has, Nick, as far as in his game, especially on the defensive end, which I will grant you. You do not have the opportunity very much in life or as a GM to get your hands on a top 5 player on the planet. And it's just that simple. And you got to do it. You just got to say yes. But Robert is in the chat. He says, Happy New Year, Gerald and Joe. Well, Happy New Year to you as well, Robert. Would you trade Austin for a chance at one of the top 3 picks in next year's draft? In a heartbeat. I would offer Austin to one of the bottom feeding teams for their pick. I would in a heartbeat, but I don't think anybody would go for it, Joe. Your thoughts on that? Because again, he is 28, guys. He's not 22. He's not 24. He is 28. That's why he will be looking to get a max deal this upcoming summer, Joe.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. That is more fantasy than anything. It's just not in the cards for anybody to make that kind of risk, even in the NBA. I mean, you have to be pretty bad in terms of. I just don't think it would happen. It's not a. It just wouldn't. I would say I wish it would happen, because I would love to get at least a 3rd pick out of that. I'd say the 3rd pick, you get somebody like Boozer's boy. power forward, center. Now you don't have to worry about DeAndre Ayton, right? So, and in my view, from the little I see, I wish I could watch more college basketball, but I just don't have enough time. But in what I've seen and what I've heard is that Cameron's going to be a pretty damn good ball player. Some are saying he's going to be better than his dad. If he is better than his dad, we're talking about perennial all-star. I'm talking about every year. So, man, it would be nice to have somebody like that to have to deal with a Wembanyama, a Chet Holmgren in the Western Conference gauntlet year in, year out. But I don't know. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I could ever expect a team to give an unprotected pick this soon, this close. It's just
New
not gonna
Orleans
happen.
just did, and they gambled hard on Derek Queen, who looks like he will be a nice player, Joe. But I'm not sure I would still have given up a top 3 player in the draft for him, which they very well might be giving up.
I guess there's always a sucker out there, right? It
Yes.
always seems to be somebody like New Orleans. New Orleans has screwed up so many picks. They've screwed up the Anthony Davis pick. They screwed up the Chris Paul pick. That franchise is a monstrosity. They have no business being in the NBA in New Orleans. My recommendation for Adam Silver and the owners is to move New Orleans and move Memphis to Vegas and Seattle, and not have expansion. A more watered down NBA is just going to make the product worse. Whether that matters or not to these guys, and it looks like it doesn't, that's another story.
DeAndre Ayton's been playing well. It's been a nice surprise at $10 million or $9 million, whatever it is that was he signed for. It's a good deal. It's a solid deal, and we're getting great production from him. But he is not the greatest defensive rim protector in the world. He does not provide a substantial up boost in defensive performance. So he is going to go out and look for his chunk of change in this offseason. And even if it's coming back to the Lakers, I'm not sure you should commit a lot more than what you're paying him now, because again, the expectations become different. And while it still will look good as far as 17 and 9 or 18 and 10, what have you, the defensive side of the ball is he's just not making a big enough presence or impact on the defensive end, Joe. So I would not commit the 20 to 25 million he'll probably be asking for on the open market this upcoming summer.
Roster construction will depend on what's available and what are the Lakers brass going to do in terms of deciding who they think would be a good fit this summer, and also those who are on the team. I don't know. I'm in kind of no man's land right now. We have to see these guys perform. We have to see Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton perform when it matters. If they make a deep run, it could be a benefit for the Lakers at that point. Maybe they're like, you know what? These guys are going to be dropping off. Certain guys are going to be dropping off. Now we have a couple of guys that I think we could put into this. But the thing is, they probably need to get a star this summer somehow. How they do that, I don't know, because there's really not any big stars available this summer.
Tough. I know your frustrations with Rui Hachimura, and obviously they're not going to get any better knowing that he is going to be out for tomorrow's game against the Detroit Pistons, which will go ahead and give you the post game on right here tomorrow after the game itself, which is going to be on NBC 7:30 p.m. So hopefully you guys will watch it and then afterwards join us on the post game. But yeah. You guys out there. Yeah. Hard to make a difference when you have two god awful defenders in your life. And that's the question, Joe. And I think that's the thing, because I talked to Caleb Ponce earlier today for NBA observations that you guys will hopefully be able to see tomorrow. And we talked at length about Austin. And I'm not going to give away what he said per se. You have to catch that show in its entirety to go ahead and find out what he said. But it's a little different from what I think and feel at this point in time about Austin. But if that's said, again, if you commit to Austin at a really high dollar value for multiple years, and I'm assuming it's going to be a max 5 years, I don't know if it's max dollars, but I know it's going to be max years because again, at 28, this is it for him. This will be the one chance he can really commit to a long-term contract when he is one of the marquee free agents out there. I understand that they love each other. They've got that dude bro relationship between him and Luca, but that defensively, it's just I can't get with it, Joe. It defensively, it's just going to be just not. It's not going to be what we need it to be because you can just not put around that many 3 and D defenders around those two and think you're going to make it work all the way to the championship. I just don't see it's just a hard reach. And even right now, Joe, let's say Austin Reeves comes back with Austin Reeves, LeBron, and Luca as your top 3 players. They're also your top 3 worst defenders on in your lineup as well.
Are you going to pay Austin Reeves $30 to $35 million a year to play off the bench? Is he going to be the Manu Ginobili of this team? If the answer is no, then I don't see his greatest asset being fulfilled. Austin Reeves, and I'm maybe maybe I'm stretching with the Manu. How about this? How about he be the Detlef Schrempf of a title contender? Because Manu was super. He wasn't really a bench player. He was the 6th starter. He really was. And if Austin doesn't understand his role, if his thought process is, I have to be a starter, you got to let him go. I can't assess this any other way. For this team to be viable year in and year out, to be a title team, Austin Reeves' game screams best scenario for team chemistry, basketball, and wins coming off the bench. That's his game.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good starter, but he would be an elite 6th man on a title team. And I will die on that hill.
Don't be mean. Stefan just became a member today. Don't be too mean to him. If he likes,
it's not Stefan. It's the lingo of the culture right now. Dying on that hill.
Okay.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Right.
It's not rocket science at this point. It's not rocket science. Austin Reeves, you're right, is not 22 years old. He's 28. He's Kyle Tucker right now in a lot of ways. Kyle Tucker wants a $400 million contract. No one's giving him $400 million, especially after the year he had. You want $400 million, you better be dropping 45 home runs and winning gold gloves, not getting hurt in August and not playing September, most of it. And your team doesn't win shit. See how I'm going with this, Gerald? You want $40 million a year, Austin Reeves? You want to be a starter in the NBA next to Luca? You have to hit shots. You have to be a guy that's available at the line behind the arc and being able to make people pay at the very least. And you also have to play at least good team defense if you're not going to play good individual defense.
It's T3. It's just the defensive issue because you already have Luca, who has this.
So I'm going to use an example here. Would you say Ray Allen was a good defender? Did you say Paul Pierce was a good defender in their careers before they got together in Boston? Before,
I'd say only in spots because
so
that's the best I'm going to give them.
Right. So fast forward to 2008, the year they won the championship. They had one of the most stout defenses I've ever seen. And 2 of those 5 on that court were 2 guys that were never known for their defense, but their team defense, because of their desire to win, their desire to be great, it materialized. If these guys, and I've seen too many times, and we have, since you mentioned our good friend, coach psychopath, uh,
Angry coaching.
angry coaching, he has pointed out numerous times about Austin Reeves being one of those guys that's looking at the birds while they're flying.
It's just that you cannot line up those two consistently because of their defensive shortcomings. As we've seen in the past few weeks, guys, these guys have consistently failed on defense. LeBron as well. That's not, 41 years old tomorrow, and happy birthday to him, but we're not going to let him off the hook as far as being a porous defender. This is something that's gone on for years. We've called it out. But when you guys are criticizing us for saying that the best place coming this season that we thought would be for him is coming off the bench as your sixth man, is simply because you just cannot line up these two guys as your defensive unit on your backcourt. It is just too much of a liability. And as soon as those guys started to fade a little bit on their scoring or started to fade a little bit on their shooting, you saw in the past 2 weeks how bad that defense really can get. And it's just, something's got to give. You either make changes or you keep it the same and understand that this is as far as they're going to go. As that backcourt has limitations simply because they cannot defend when you need it the most. It's just that simple.
So,
And I'm like, Nick T, they are targeting LeBron. They do. Whoever's guarding, whoever LeBron is guarding, because LeBron lays off people, especially in the corners. They love shooting corner threes on LeBron, or they love going at him on the box outs because he doesn't box out. He doesn't know what a box out is. The Lakers don't know as a team what a box out is. How many times have we seen somebody jam a rebound back in on an offensive rebound over LeBron this season? Quite a few times.
April 12th. That's the last regular season game. I believe the Lakers are going to make the playoffs, which, if, let's say, they get into the second round, we're looking at what? Beginning of May? LeBron James will be playing his last season in LA. Unless he takes a $10 million per year salary next year, something like that. But even then, we are likely looking at the last year that LeBron's going to be a Laker. So the concern about his defense and his aura will be gone. The Austin Reeves dilemma will likely be an easy one, at least if I was a general manager or a player personnel for the Lakers. I'd tell his agent, I would go ahead and go get the best deal you can get, and this is what we have for you. 5-year, 30 per. Because that's manageable. If you need to make a trade later that year, a year later, to go get somebody, $30 million, as weird as that sounds saying, isn't a lot of money to where you're going to debilitate the trade. You're going to be able to find enough matching contracts to get that going with fill-ins as well.
Oh, T3, we're not scapegoating anyone. They're all get the blame. They all, when they don't play defense, it's a team issue, not just Reeves.
This is important.
Let me just finish this, because you guys got to read all the stuff that we read on these post game shows that we do, all these comments, all this hate towards Austin Reeves and whatnot. But there is some truth in it. Is the fact that when you line those two up, Luka and AR in the same backcourt, I understand that they love each other. I understand that they play well together on the offensive end. But again, defensively, along with LeBron, it is just hard to maintain even a decent defense with those three as your starting three in the lineup. It's not a scapegoat. It's just reality. The numbers bear it out.
You got to stop associating criticism with hate. That is one of the biggest just punches in the face of this era, this generation. Because I am criticizing Austin Reeves, LeBron, whoever, for not being capable of executing something doesn't mean we hate them. You got to stop doing that. It's not hate. I don't hate anyone except the Houston Astros. Okay? I fucking hate everything about that team. So you can say whatever you want with that. But I don't hate Austin. I don't even hate LeBron. They can't do it.
And
how many years are you going to watch? Inadequate everything when it matters. It's not anybody's fault. They just can't do it. LeBron is in his 50th season. What do you want LeBron to do? When I hear he needs to play better defense, how? How is LeBron going to play better defense in his 23rd season? How? He can't. He'll bust a tire like he has the last 2 seasons. It's not going to work. Austin Reeves is laterally challenged. It sucks. God didn't create him to have that. Just like I didn't have 4.3 speed. I wish I did. If I did, hell, even 4.5 speed, I would have been Cam Chancellor. So what is it? What goes on in your minds because you keep watching all those dumb shits, celebrities, those wannabe celebrities that become celebrities, that anytime you criticize anybody for being inadequate in certain things, we hate. I don't hate anyone. Okay, I'll tell you when I hate you. I'll tell you to your fucking face. I don't hate anybody on the Lakers. Even Vando. I don't hate him. But he can't fucking do what needs to be done. What do you want me to say? You want me to say, go give it your best, buddy. Good job. Fuck that. I ain't doing that shit. I don't have time for that shit. I come from the school of Nick Saban, Bill Parcells, Bill Cowher. That's my way of doing things. That's how my brain works. You want me to pat you on the ass and hope you do well so that you can feel like you're liked? Fuck you. I don't give a fuck about any of that. You go home and you go play nice and play house with your wife and your kids. I've said this before. For those of you who are new, I don't give a shit about what these guys do at home. I don't give a shit about the social media. I don't give a shit about their reputation outside that court. My time is spent watching my team perform and win. My satisfaction is pride in that. I love the competition. I love my teams. And if there's certain players that are adequate enough, regardless if I like that player, it still needs to be said. We are not Trevor Lane. We are not Dave McMenamin, bunch of tongue up the asses type guys. We'll never be that. It never will happen, which is probably why we'll never be near that team or near these people. And I don't give a shit about being near these people or near the team. I do enjoy going to the games. I do enjoy supporting them, but I don't need a relationship with these people.
I'm just going to say this between you and
That's a good example, T3. Yes. Alec Baldwin goes into that meeting. I don't associate skill with money a lot of ways. I'm more of a, hey, are you going to be able to do what needs to get done? Money's obviously tied in that particular theme of that movie. But yeah. What do you got?
Coffee.
You're the LA Lakers.
Coffee.
But this association with hate when you criticize, that needs to stop. That needs to stop. That's why no one asks questions at these press conferences, because they're worried about JJ Redick turning into a woman when he doesn't get the question he likes every damn time too. Once in a while, a reporter asks a stupid question and he'll get hit by not hit literally, but get hit with a snide comment, and that's fine. That's fine once in a while because sometimes it is a stupid question. But every single time you have any kind of constructive criticism, all of a sudden you're a hater, you get ostracized, you get booted, you get your media pass taken away. Fuck that. That's censorship now at that point. You don't allow anybody to ask you guys questions. Why is LeBron still making $52 million a year when he's not that guy anymore? Answer me that question. What is LeBron and what is Rich Paul going to tell me when I ask him that question? He's going to get defensive like the bitch he is, and he's going to probably gaslight me, right? Who the fuck is this guy? Some fucking douchebag that doesn't know anything, that just sits in a podcast chair, right? Well, that might all be true, but your boy ain't earning the $52 million. No matter how much gaslighting you do, no matter how much you want to call people haters at your convenience, your guy ain't earning that money. And you're in a league now where every dollar matters because your dumbass owners and your dumbass NBA PA decided to ratify this piece of shit collective bargaining agreement where you can't take a shit without some kind of fee or some kind of trade exemption, where you can't do anything anymore. You can't go get a free agent without thinking about 400 different things. You can't go make a trade in December, in January. You got to wait till fucking February. And then what really has happened the last couple seasons? That's been like earth-shattering. What? Durant again going from another team to another team? Is that really exciting? So what is it? What is it you want me and us to do? You want us to be positive when shit is negative? That is stupid. That is stupid. You need to watch. If you want positive, you watch my Dodger edition shows. Then you'll see positive. Not because they're just winning championships. I mean, that helps. But it's going to come down to, why is this team doing this versus why this team is doing that? And notice, when you're doing things right, you compete. When you're doing something stupid, you're losing to the fucking Wolves as a 3 seed in the first round. And you're going to have the fucking nerve to tell me that I hate Austin Reeves because he sucked ass in that series and that LeBron was playing on one leg because he got worked last year too much, and you want him to play defense on top of that at 41 years old tomorrow? Come on. Use your brains. Think. The results are in front of you. It has nothing to do with us. It's the results that we are interpreting. So learn how to interpret. Learn context. And grow the fuck up.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is a snack pack. It's Joe Soro along with B. Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching this thing. Between you and awful coaching, Dave McMenamin and Trevor Lane are getting smacked right and left on this. It's hilarious. I will say, and again, this goes back to what Stefan was talking about, trying to defend Rob Pelinka. But Rob, the team he's built around Luka and LeBron, it's just, it has a lot of issues. Rui, who you stated earlier, Stefan, was consistent. That's been his thing his whole career. He's been inconsistent. And finally, we started the beginning of this season after he got back from an injury, started to see a little bit of that. But in recent weeks, we have not seen that. He's been very inconsistent. The donut he gave you on Christmas Day and the injury that he has now is just, if he can't stay healthy, he's just not out there. When he's out there, he is a problem because he's just not demanding the ball enough and not getting the ball enough, whether it's a him issue or a team issue. It's something that's not been fully decided upon. But B, he is out of position. He is not a small forward. He is not athletic, quick enough to defend those athletic individuals at that position. But since your power forward is LeBron James, you have to keep him in there because of what he can he give you at 40+% from beyond the arc. But if he's not going to give you any points out there, like in some of the games we've been seeing as of late, then maybe you have to make some hard decisions on Rui. going forward in a year and a contract year for him when he should be excelling. He doesn't seem to be excelling right now, and I'll just leave it at that. With AR, Austin Reeves, he is a great story. People just forget how great a story he is, Joe. This guy is undrafted, now on the verge of getting an all-star. He is one of the top 10 all-star vote getters right now in the NBA in the Western Conference. That is a great scenario for him. That is one of the best outcomes for any undrafted player of the last 10 years. And nobody should underwhelm that or underappreciate that at all. But the fact is, he wasn't drafted partly because of his defense being so bad. And that's just part of the deal that we've seen. He's worked on it, he applies himself to it. But as we saw in the Denver series, when he really applies himself to try to lock down or slow down Jamal Murray to any extent, which he did, he it takes out on his offense. And it's just he cannot be that two-way player, which we need him to be. He is very skilled. He is very good at getting himself to the free throw line. He is a decent shooter from outside, and he's a pretty good playmaker and a secondary playmaker at that. But he just has issues to apply himself on both sides of the ball. That is the problem with him. But he is a great and fantastic story other than that. Now, Marcus Smart, great story that he does provide you those brief bits of hope to the Lakers when he has those games out of nowhere, 20 plus points, and he hits some threes, and his defense looks pretty good, initiating some energy into the team. But how many games do you get of that? And at 31, you can see he gets hurt rather easily. We were all worried when he banged his shoulder the other day and he ran running out into the locker room. He fortunately came back, but it's just a matter of when, not if, he's going back on the injured list for him. And let's just put the issues with Rob again committing to a long-term extension for Jared Vanderbilt, who is on the verge of getting a double foot surgery and already had certain limitations in his game that haven't gotten better. Yes, he was on a little bit of a hot streak from three that put him in a good percentage, but did you see him in the last game? He hit his three, and then the next three he took was 2 feet short and 2 feet to the left. And then the play after that, he threw the ball away to a wide open man and instead threw it away. That's what you get with Jared Vanderbilt. And that's why committing to him for a long-term contract was just not a wise decision. So again, a lot of this can be attributed to the decisions Rob Pelinka has made. And people want to say Rich Paul and Clutch have determined the outcome for the entire roster. No, it always has to come down to who is making the actual decisions on this team, and it's Rob Pelinka. Don't give me that LeBron and AD decided the Westbrook thing over dinner and all that stuff. No, Rob Pelinka, if he had some balls, would have said what I said day one when they made that trade, and that was no. You should have said no. You should have said no then, and it hurt the Lakers for years. It set back the Lakers team for years. Again, Rob has done a decent job getting 3 rotation players on a limited amount of money that he was going to spend. Should he have spent more? Should he have done more in the offseason? I thought so, but he didn't. He got us an adequate team, but an adequate team is what we have, and an adequate team is what we have going into 2026, Joe. And it's just that simple. We don't have a championship level team right now around Luka Doncic.
No, they don't. And you need to make sure you have the Mark Messiers, the Paul Coffeys, the Marty McSorleys around Wayne Gretzky.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do a little history lesson because you guys have already pissed me off tonight, some of you. Go do a history lesson of the 80s Edmonton Oilers, okay? If you want Luka to be Kobe, Kawhi, Michael Jordan, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? Luka is going to be who he is, and Luka is enough. Okay? He has enough talent to lead a team to multiple championships. He's that good. You want to call Luka overrated? You want to call him a ball hog? You want to call him a guy that shoots too much? It doesn't really matter what you think at that point. Okay, you go drop 35 points a game. Then who's doing that, Gerald? How many guys do that?
Only
Okay,
one right
I know
now.
a whole lot of guys. Kobe averaged 35 points a game 1 year. Michael Jordan averaged 37 1 year. So it's very, very rare. Don't say stupid shit like this guy's overrated, okay? This guy's gonna win championships for the Lakers. What are you gonna say then? You're gonna come with some bullshit excuse that the league is rigged? That's what losers say every time they don't get their way. You know what else losers say when things aren't going well? Oh, this guy's overrated. Oh, you're hating. What else? What else? Oh, my favorite one, of course, is the Dodgers are have all the money. That's why they're winning. Okay, right. Before they were choking, now they're winning. Now they're spending too much money. They were spending this as much money 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. How come you guys weren't bitching then? They had a homegrown team in 17 and 18, and those cocksuckers in Houston cheated and Boston cheated, and no one said shit. So suck this. Okay? Suck on this a little bit more, and I can't wait till they three-peat. Then you can suck on both of these. Okay? Seriously. The excuses and the bullshit that comes out of people's mouths without repercussions is nauseating to me. I've had it with this. Like, it needs to be talked about. Now, the good thing is I'm wired for this. I don't go home and need to go have a drink because I'm stressed. I'm wired for the action. I just wish it was more face to face. I think it'd be more fun. But I can't talk to 2,500 people all in one room. It's just not realistic.
But Nick T says he'll bet you 20 cows Joe Luca is not winning a championship. Again, Nick, I love you, bro, man, because you're here and you're here all the time, and I truly appreciate you enjoying it. Even though, again, we agreed to disagree on Luca, but I do, he has his flaws, but that's who he is. But again, like Joe says, what do you get on the other end of the spectrum? We always talk about his can't play defense. He can't do this. He doesn't do that. He can't do this. He argues with the rest. But what does he give you on that other end? He puts you in a position to win more times than not because of the fact that he does so much for the Lakers, playmaking, distributing, rebounding, and scoring the basketball.
The best place for the Rui skills and Austin skills is off the bench. Luka on this team after the end of the year is really, and maybe DeAndre Ayton are the only real starters that are starter materials. You could see DeAndre Ayton being a starting center in the NBA in many teams, but
you have to have better.
He's not the ideal big for a Luka-centric offense. What you do want, actually, in a funny way to say this, Oklahoma City's team would actually be better with Luka than it would be with SGA. Is that going too deep in to the Luka bag? Imagine Luka serving Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and that crew. Maybe it's not so much that he'd be better there than SGA. It's more of that's actually the kind of team that would prop up Luka's game better. But then again, I guess anybody's if you put Trae Young in there too, he'd probably do well there too, right?
Yep.
Or does SGA's defense make that much of a difference versus no defense for Trae Young and also Luka?
Pinty, I like your thoughts on, again, as I reached out to you on your comments after our show the other night. You talked about getting Mann and Highsmith, nice hustle defenders. Bring him in. Defense does get a little bit better. I don't think that's going to change the needle. But they're nice defenders. Obviously, they would improve the team defensively, but as dynamic personalities in your rotation, I don't think that they get you to that next level that would still bridge the gap with Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City looks like they may be on another run right now. It might go off on another 8 to 10 or more game winning streak because of what happened against San Antonio. And San Antonio and Denver are losing, bringing them back to the Lakers, which gives the chance for the Lakers to gain some ground in the Western Conference coming up on tomorrow night's game show against Detroit, which actually is a good sign heading into 2026 with the win.
There's gonna be an understanding, a greater understanding here in the next few years. We're still too early in this.
Mhm.
So you can think whatever you want, but I'm pretty confident that at some point you're going to see what you think what is not what. Luka Doncic will not end his Laker career without multiple championships. There's no way with a Mark Walter run team that this guy's not going to end up winning championships. It's just history says that any star that comes to LA will win a championship. The only one that hasn't won one in their history was Elgin Baylor. That's it.
And then he stayed a little bit longer. Yeah, but
Thing is, he was drafted. He was the last line of the Minneapolis Lakers to LA, and then played in some of the biggest games at that time. It's just they couldn't get over the hump.
Yep.
Frank Selvey, if he just hits that 13-footer, who knows what would have happened. But then again, in the end, nothing's for sure, right? Just because it happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen in the future. But I feel pretty confident that it's going to work out.
Before we head on out, guys, JY dropped a question I put there for Joe and I. When JJ brings up the players don't care and having to preach energy and effort, who is JJ referring to? The star players or the role players? And JY is always mentioned towards the star players because that's the one. It's always from the top down that these messages are always given to. So yes, the message was clearly sent towards Luka, LeBron, and at that time when AR was playing, AR as well. And then because it filters down to the rest of the team.
Yeah, if your star isn't able to take constructive criticism from his coach, that there's usually a disconnect there, and that never bodes well.
We will find out, though. Will the Lakers go ahead tomorrow against Detroit, be able to put up a good number and get two in a row? We'll see. And again, we'll be back for the post game. The game itself is at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Coast time on NBC. So go ahead and check it out there, or Peacock on your streaming service if that's what you want. But Joe, it's been a great episode. Joe's had a lot of varying opinions on the world of the NBA and also as well on the Lakers. We have yet to see what will happen to Luka Doncic, but any happy birthday wishes and thoughts for LeBron before we head on out? Because that's tomorrow.
Happy birthday.
41st birthday for LeBron tomorrow. So looking forward to seeing if he can give us 41 tomorrow. Would be great. And we'll see.
And a win? Yeah, that would be nice.
That would be nice. Detroit will not come in there happy. Detroit has been in LA for a few days. They didn't like their first stop against the orange cream jerseyed. And I like the color orange, but I like it the way they utilized it at Clipperland. But you know what? Didn't stop Kawhi from scoring 55 the other day as they manhandled the Detroit Pistons. And Detroit has been having a little bit of a rough time on their road trip. So we'll see if that continues tomorrow. We'll see if the Lakers' new commitment to a little bit better defense will happen tomorrow as well. And of course, we'll go ahead and give you the shout on what's going on with the Lakers and the Pistons after the game. Hopefully, you'll join us, whether they win or lose. I understand that we're always more popular when they lose, but even if they win, hang out with us as well. Don't forget, I've got my NBA observations with Caleb Ponce. Stefan, since you're now a member, you'll be able to catch it right after the show, and then you guys will be able to go ahead and who aren't members be able to catch it tomorrow morning. We talk about a whole myriad of NBA issues. That's also went for about an hour and a half as well. So yeah, we're giving you guys some good content. Hopefully you will join us for that. And Wednesday, I will be putting up hopefully a video with Legend with some NBA observations as well. Joe, appreciate you stopping in on not a day for the Lakers game, a day off, bringing back the old snack pack and providing some NBA predictions for the Lakers for next year. It was really good, man. It was really good. Appreciate it, man.
Yay.
Yay. Yay. You know what? When you see him or ask him about the Dodgers, you see the twinkle in his eye. But when you talk about or ask him about Mike Tomlin or the Lakers, you see that twinkle start to fade away. Starts to fade away. And I'll just leave it.
Well, the inability to results is the business. It's about results. And the results can be fixed a lot of times by cutting it out and getting new stuff in there. And when you're stubborn and you're not doing that and you keep having the same result over and over again, that tends to create angst. And then you'll hear commentary like Luka's overrated or that Max fucking Christie is a good player. Like, I mean, first team all NBA 5 times, scoring champion, Western Conference Finals MVP, Rookie of the Year is overrated. Guy that averages almost 35 points a game and almost a triple-double is overrated. When you say things like that, you don't have any credibility anymore in anything. If you're that dunce in that something that simple, I'm not going to trust you with anything. You're probably a bad decision maker in the real world too. That's a dumb comment. It's a dumb assessment. You can't convince any logical person that a guy that's been in the NBA for 5 freaking years, who averages 7 points a game at the guard position / scoring. I know that they're fluid nowadays, but really he's built like a guard. Averages 7 fucking points a game, and you're telling me he's amazing. You are an idiot. Or you're his mother. Then at that point, I understand. Seriously. And then you say that Luka's overrated because he shoots too much. Who do you want to shoot? You want Marcus Smart to shoot? How about DeAndre? How about Rui? No. How about Connect? Who the fuck is going to shoot on this team? No one can shoot. Find a couple guys that can shoot and watch what he does. Oh, yeah, Gabe Vincent. How about him? How about that freaking... That's another guy that is on that line of hate with that guy. I can't stand Gabe Vincent. What an absolute monstrosity. A wasted... He's like the Rendon of the NBA to me.
All right. With that, it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Anything to comment on what JY said before we head out with Mike Tomlin? Didn't want Garrett to break the TJ sack record against the Steelers. He sacrificed a win? Question mark.
Another stupid comment. I thought it was, and it came from that dipshit. Myles Garrett is not a very bright guy. He's a self-absorbed dick fuck. And I can't stand that cocksucker. He's a piece of shit too, calling people racist when he's hitting them with a helmet, shit like that, right? He's been on my list of shitbags for a long time. He plays for a shitbag organization. He's a shitbag himself. And I'm hoping he doesn't get another sack next week. I think that would be fitting if he got stuck at 22 where he belongs. If you're not going to game plan for Myles Garrett, then you game plan for Myles Garrett to not get sacks. You really think Mike Tomlin and the Steelers were thinking about Myles Garrett's fucking sack record? Trying to win a football game to close a division? You have any idea how stupid today has been the fucking dipshit central day today. Some of you have said some of the dumbest fucking things. Stop watching social media. Take a walk. Go get a girlfriend. Get a wife. And definitely get one that isn't overbearing either. A lot of those bitches are out there. You don't want any of those people. Use your brain. You're a grown man. Grown men are supposed to use this. We're not supposed to be emotional unless you're reacting. And it's good theater. That's it. It's mind-boggling to me at how stupid some of your guys' brain works. Because you read something online and you listen to some dipshit like Myles Garrett, think that he's that self-absorbed that he thinks Mike Tomlin wasn't going to game plan for Myles Garrett to not sack a 44-year-old quarterback. I'm sorry, 42-year-old quarterback. A lot of 40-year-olds these days playing quarterback because that's how bad quarterbacking is in the NFL right now. What else is the NFL going to do? Are they going to put a shield around them now?
Rivers looks like he just got off the couch, Joe. And he still throws better than half the league. That's what's scary.
Yeah, it's the development of quarterbacks right now because of the fact that no one's patient enough. Some of them are, but not most. You also have too much onus on the running quarterback, which doesn't allow the quarterback to really develop the good in the pocket.
You may have been
stability.
wrong though on Williams, Caleb Williams. Though I'm just leaving it out there.
Caleb Williams.
Caleb.
Well, if I had known Ben Johnson was going to go to Chicago before last year, I would have said there was a chance. But he's
played really well, Joe. He has played really well.
And he probably will be very serviceable, very good if he continues to work. And it helps to have, in my view, the top 3 coach in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. Kyle Shanahan is number 1, and Sean McVay is number 2, and then Ben Johnson's number 3 in my book right now. I mean, Jim Harbaugh's can be, he has an argument somewhere in there, but those are the 3 that I would hitch my wagon on at the moment.
And on that note, it is the Lakers Fast Break. I truly appreciate you catching the snack pack. We'll be back tomorrow again after the game for the Lakers Pistons post game. A big shout out to my good friend, Mr. John Costa. Hopefully he will be feeling up to, coming in and joining us on the post game. Hopefully Joe will be here as well. Maybe we'll get a Legend. I know he's been traveling. I know he was in the chat earlier. So big shout out to Legend. I got Next Sports Media. Big like and subscribe out to him out there. But Joe, it's been great. It's been fun, but we got to go ahead and hand it out, my friend. So for Joe Soro at the Joe Soro Experiment, it's Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Please like and subscribe. Again, we do this quite a bit. The one thing we've given you this year is quite a bit of content. You cannot say that this channel has not given you a ton of content this year, and that's what we've been able to provide, and we hope to do the same for you in 2026, but it's all up to you. We have to keep this show going, so hopefully you will keep growing as far as a fan base, as far as a subscribership, as far as whatever we can do to help us out become larger, because again, we want awful coaching screaming at us one day as well. Just instead of just always Dave McMenamin and Trevor Lane being the demise of the Lakers, in his opinion. Let's hear what he has to say about us. Hopefully one day he will, but we'll wait and see. But once again, it is Joe Soro. Thanks again for watching, listening. For me, Gerald Glassford, thanks again as well. We will see you tomorrow. The Lakers and Pistons post game. Looking forward to it. Will the Lakers win 2 in a row and end this year on a good note? We'll find out as only we can and share our thoughts as only we can right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast.